Today on Investigate TV Plus, a young girl tragically taken from her family on what was supposed to be an afternoon of fun. Federal guidelines are supposed to keep kids safe on ATVs, all-terrain vehicles. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich, but we found some states aren't following the standards and reveal where safety falls short and lives are lost.
I thought she had been in a car accident. An ATV crash never crossed my mind.
Plus, a man waiting for his day in court says he was attacked inside a jail.
Look, I'm getting stabbed. Just making a gesture, I'm getting stabbed, and that's when he finally opened up the door.
Why he says the guard just stood by and watched.
And brewing independence.
One, it's only two, right?
How this coffee shop empowers employees to rise and shine to opportunity.
It means a lot to me. I feel more responsibility.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
It's an off-road machine designed to traverse rough land, whether for farming or fun. But we found all-terrain vehicles send thousands of Americans to the ER every year.
And when it comes to ATVs, government data shows kids under 16 are most at risk for death.
Despite this, our national team found some states are ignoring federal guidelines to set age limits.
Consumer investigator Rachel DePompa shows us where states fall short and how one mom is turning her own pain into change for other families.
Let them know we got a 10-year-old unresponsive male.
In the headlines almost daily.
5-year-old girl was killed in an accident involving a UTV.
Children injured or killed on ATVs.
He was sweet, 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 sweet. And we loved him so much.
I didn't even know what. I just kept praying to God, please, just please, I hope they are alive.
Between 2016 and 2020, the Consumer Product Safety Commission estimates about 140,000 children under the age of 16 ended up in emergency rooms for ATV-related injuries. That's the equivalent of every child in the state of Wyoming going to an ER for just that one reason. From doctors to federal regulators to even ATV manufacturers. For years, they've all agreed on one premise. Children should not ride ATVs designed for adults.
Little did we know that we would send her to a friend's house and she would never come back.
Ashley Briggenschmidt didn't know her 11-year-old daughter, Kate, would even be on an ATV, much less driving it.
She was very, very inexperienced. She had never driven an ATV before.
In 2015, Kate went to a friend's house in between softball games.
Kate was driving an adult-size ATV with one of her teammates on the back. Neither of them were wearing helmets.
The ATV tipped over. Kate's teammate jumped off the back. Kate couldn't, and the ATV rolled over and landed on her head.
I thought she had been in a car accident. An ATV crash never crossed my mind.
11-year-old Kate died instantly.
Do you think ATVs are dangerous?
I think if ATVs are not driven properly, they are dangerous. If they're not wearing the proper safety gear, or if they're riding one that is too big for them. I mean, Kate weighed 75 pounds and she was on a machine that weighed 750.
Every ATV now comes with these stickers, warning labels from the manufacturer listing a minimum age. This sticker is typically on the full-sized vehicles. It says, no children under 16. We examined ATV laws all across this country. They vary greatly, all the way down to the county level. We found at least 40 states lack restrictions that would stop a child younger than 16 from operating an ATV. 13 states have no age limit at all, and we found 9 states still don't have helmet laws on the books.
It's really confusing, like the hodgepodge of state laws.
For 20 years, Rachel Weintraub was the legislative director and general counsel for the Consumer Federation of America.
We know what we need to do to make these vehicles safer, for these numbers to go down dramatically. We really need to think about the best ways to ensure that children are on vehicles that are the right size and powerfulness for them.
For the Consumer Product Safety Commission, ATVs remain the most dangerous discretionary use product for children.
ATVs and side-by-sides together are responsible for the most number of deaths in our jurisdiction.
We found the agency's recalled a total of 270 types of ATVs over the last 23 years. That's more recalls than it's issued on types of refrigerators, candles, and cribs.
And I use these products. I wouldn't want them going away at all, but I do want to make sure that if me and my child are in one, we're going to be safe.
So this is Kate.
Ashley has turned her loss of Kate into a legacy. There's an inclusive playground in her memory, a foundation, a new helmet law in Indiana, and an education campaign. With Safety Sam and Safety Sarah, robots who educate kids. They're wearing helmets with all the appropriate safety gear on child-sized ATVs. The difference from an adult size is striking.
I feel like ATVs are safe and they're fun, and I'm not anti-ATV. I just want them to be driven safely.
Ashley's fight to change Indiana law may have helped save lives. According to the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, in the 5 years prior to the new helmet law, there were 29 child fatalities. In the 5 years after, there were only 7.
Still ahead, the path to parenthood isn't always linear.
So every time I went to the doctor, was there going to be a heartbeat?
The ancient therapy helping modern mothers have healthy pregnancies.
Plus, jail inmates face increased attacks, why people who haven't even been convicted of a crime are at risk.
These are innocent people. Whether they will later be determined to be guilty is a fact that is irrelevant to whether those who are in charge of their safekeeping are upholding their constitutional duties to keep them safe.
They're in a place where law and order is supposedly paramount, but the feds have their eyes on multiple county jails following a number of attacks. In 2023, the Department of Justice launched an investigation into county jails in Georgia and South Carolina for serious violence by inmates and staff. Retired Sheriff's Lieutenant Charles Rambo worked at the Fulton County Jail for 12 years. He says it's more violent now than when the jail opened in 1989.
Don't get me wrong, we had our problems, but we did not have deaths to this magnitude in terms of stabbings, homicides, gang-related violence.
And in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty, many of these inmates haven't even had their day in court. In 2022, nearly 70% of people locked up in county jails have yet to be convicted of a crime.
You can't continue to just hold inmates forever. They deserve their day in court according to the Constitution.
At another jail in Georgia, a man who wasn't yet convicted of a crime says he was the target of a vicious attack while a guard stood by and watched.
The former detainee gave investigative reporter Andy Parati video of his attack. He survived, but he's still shaken.
And we want to warn you, this video may be disturbing to watch.
Derek Cody walks out of his Clayton County cell in July 2023 after he says fellow detainees threatened his life.
They pretty much demanding, telling you, we're gonna stab you up. If you don't come up with a way to give us some money, we're gonna hurt you.
Watch closely. You can see two men with what appear to be shanks or knives in their hands. As Derek begs correctional officers to open the door, they strike. What are you yelling? What are you saying?
Look, I'm getting stabbed. Just making a gesture, I'm getting stabbed, and that's when he finally opened up the door.
Derek, who was detained for pending property damage charges, suffered stab wounds to his stomach, leg, and back. Taken to the hospital with a piece of metal still stuck in his body.
I didn't even look. I didn't even want to look. When she pulled it, I told her to go ahead and snatch it out as fast as she can because I don't want to think about the pain.
The day before the attack, Derek says he got into an argument with a correctional officer about using the phone. He says he felt threatened but didn't think much more about it until he learned about an arrest involving the same officer a few months later. He's former officer Jalen Clausell, This past November, the sheriff's office arrested him for allegedly helping multiple inmates assault a detainee. And it's not the first time a Clayton County jailer has been accused of planning an attack.
Shocking allegations involving a former Clayton County Corrections officer.
John Hollenshed is accused of planning and orchestrating a, quote, vicious attack on an inmate in his custody that he was sworn to protect.
The sheriff's office arrested at least 2 other jail employees for theft, once in May 2023.
According to the sheriff, Dixon used her position to steal from inmates.
Another officer arrested 2 weeks before Derek's attack.
A 5th Sheriff's Office employee has now been arrested in what officials say was an operation to defraud inmates.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I was surprised.
Thomas Reynolds is Derek's attorney and plans to file a lawsuit against the sheriff's office soon.
Why is the sheriff's office liable for what happened to Derek?
When you see an inmate crying for help, screaming for help, banging on the window for your attention and your assistance and your help because their life is in danger, you've got a duty to respond to that.
We showed the video to Devin Franklin with the Southern Center for Human Rights.
I'm angered. He's not being protected.
The attorney for the civil rights organization says Derek's attack illustrates the consequences of Georgia's extraordinary incarceration rates. According to the Prison Policy Initiative, Georgia locks up 968 per 100,000 people. Take a look. That's not only the highest in the U.S., it's a higher percentage of people behind bars than any free democratic country on earth. Nearly half of them in local jails.
These are innocent people. Whether they will later be determined to be guilty is a fact that is irrelevant to whether those who are in charge of their safekeeping are upholding their constitutional duties to keep them safe.
Yeah, it's kind of troubling remembering and coming back here.
A sheriff's office responsible for protecting those in its custody, accused of failing to do its job.
It's like, who's gonna protect you? The guards can't protect you. When you step into Clayton County Jail, you already had to have the mindset, I can die here.
The Clayton County District Attorney's Office has yet to present Deputy Causel's case to a grand jury, and the charges involving the other deputies arrested over the past year are still pending. I reached out to the sheriff multiple times about the video, but he did not respond. In Atlanta, I'm Andy Perotti.
The Southern Center for Human Rights says Georgia can reduce its jail population and attacks like this by eliminating cash bail to reduce court backlogs.
It's something only one state in the country has done, and so far, Illinois has seen some success. A study from Loyola University Chicago analyzed court hearings before and after the Pretrial Fairness Act took effect. It found bond hearings took longer, going from about 5 minutes to about 30 minutes, allowing judges to make more informed decisions on bond conditions. The study also found the prosecution and defense were more likely to agree on bond conditions.
Still ahead, rise and grind, how this cafe is creating a warm welcome for its employees.
Plus, a point of conception. You can find a therapy dating back thousands of years in hospitals across the country, how it's helping some women improve their pregnancy outcomes. For many, growing a family can come with complications like infertility. The CDC estimates 1 in 5 women ages 15 to 49 with no prior births struggle to get pregnant after 1 year of trying. And 1 in 4 of those women have difficulty getting pregnant or carrying to term. But there's an approach to conception benefiting some before, during, and after pregnancy.
Reporter Jen Pachano shows us how it's working for one patient at a Cleveland, Ohio hospital.
You're gonna sit in Brother's lap? Not long ago, this picturesque scene of a family of 4 seemed out of reach for Katie Collins. After she got pregnant and had her first child without any complications, she suffered a pair of late-stage miscarriages.
I kind of thought, once I got past the first trimester, we were good to go. Couldn't really figure out what was wrong. You know, my husband and I We were so sad, and I didn't think I could do that again.
In the first few weeks of another delicate pregnancy, Katie enlisted the help of her doctors and the team at University Hospital's Connor Whole Health in Beechwood, which focuses on wellness before and during pregnancy through integrative therapies like nutrition, exercise, stress management, and acupuncture.
It was a week-by-week approach, like, okay, we made it to this week. There never felt like there was a safe point. So every time I went to the doctor, was there going to be a heartbeat, or what I found out that, the baby was gone.
So to bolster her chances at success, Katie started acupuncture. Christine Kaiser is the Connor Endowed Director of Reproductive Well-Being there. She says any woman trying to get pregnant can benefit from changes in their lifestyle.
Eating healthier, getting better sleep, managing their stress, exercising more, and all of those things we talk about at Connor Whole Health. But specifically women that might be struggling to get pregnant or have had pregnancy losses and want to work on optimizing their health before their next conception.
During the sessions, Kaiser says the acupuncture therapy stimulates the body, creating positive changes.
So we're looking for changes like improved blood flow to the reproductive organs so that they can work better. Improved relaxation of the nervous system. We want to try and switch to that parasympathetic state, which is where we rest, digest, heal, and relax.
Felt like it was that extra thing that I was doing to give my body all the help that it could get.
After sessions, Katie said she slept better and her digestive system was on track. Her stress and anxiety lessened.
If I was having hip pain, that seemed to be better. If I had a cold, that went away faster.
She says she's a believer in this whole health approach to conception and pregnancy.
I felt like I had just like a really awesome teammate in my corner that was going to be there for me, hopefully with a successful outcome.
The more we can learn how to relax our nervous system, and surprisingly, acupuncture is very relaxing. Most of my patients take a nap, feel very happy and relaxed when we're done with the session.
I'm not afraid of needles, and I'm definitely not afraid of trying something new. So I thought, let's give it a try, and it didn't hurt.
Katie now says with her baby girl kit, her family is complete.
What do you think about when you see her crawling around, and do you think about what it took to get there?
I think she's a miracle. I think both my children are miracles in a way that maybe I didn't appreciate before.
Acupuncture was first developed in ancient China to treat pain. According to the Mayo Clinic, it's most commonly used to treat chemotherapy-induced nausea, dental pain, fibromyalgia, migraines, menstrual cramps, and hay fever.
Still ahead, made with a latte love. How this coffee shop is empowering people with disabilities to espresso themselves.
I wake up every morning with a smile on my face to go to work.
I'm Viv Williams with a medical mythbuster moment. Maybe you've heard that certain foods like grapefruit or celery, hot peppers or vinegar can burn fat. Well, as much as we'd love that to be true, it isn't. Fat-burning foods are a myth. A Mayo Clinic health system nutrition expert notes online that no specific foods can burn fat or boost your metabolism enough to make a difference, and that focusing on one food is too restrictive, making sticking to such a diet tough to do. So what diet is best for fat burning and weight loss? A huge review article published in the Journal of Obesity and Metabolism shows diets are not one size fits all. The best plan for you is one that provides proper nutrition and that you'll be able to maintain. With this Mythbuster moment, I'm Viv Williams.
Work gives many of us a sense of satisfaction, independence, and the means to pay the bills.
But in order to get that job, you need the opportunity. One coffee shop in Phoenix is helping disabled Americans find a path to that success.
Reporter Alexis Dominguez shows us how its employees brew coffee and brighten people's days.
One, it's only two, right?
At first glance, One Revolution Coffee inside the Sandra Day O'Connor Courthouse is similar to other coffee shops.
Might need help with this part.
But it's different in the best of ways.
I wake up every morning with a smile on my face to go to work.
At 31 years old, this is Mike Watt's first job. Over the years, he's had a tough time finding the right one because of his mild intellectual disability.
It means a lot to me. I feel more responsibility and people looking up to me.
One Revolution Coffee opened up a little over a year ago. Since then, it's been empowering people like Mike, allowing them to be independent.
It feels great. It feels like I can work through my own money. It feels like I can actually earn it instead of people giving it to me.
Mike Homko is the Arizona executive director for One Step Beyond, a nonprofit running the shop and advocating to lessen the many gaps and stigmas people living with disabilities face in the workforce.
They're hard workers. They have abilities, and we try to remind them not to discount them. They're on time. They love what they do. They're attentive, and they do really hard work at their job.
Just a little more time.
Bianca Benavides has cerebral palsy, and despite limited movement, she's adapted quickly.
It's one thing that's been troubling to find a job with is being able to know what I can do and what I can't do. I have my arm, my hand, but I can't use it. I can't use it with my fingers or anything like that. I can only move my shoulder and my elbow.
She's one of the shop's longest employees and knows all the ins and outs.
The cash register, prepping food, and even just coffee, making the coffees.
That everyday job many of us take for granted has given these employees confidence.
Everybody has helped me to get this point, and I realized that I'm at this point where I can do it.
Well, that coffee shop is proof that everybody can contribute. They just need a place to do it.
And I think it's given them so much confidence and, look, the ability to go, I can have a job and do it well. And look, it looks like they're doing great there too.
Yeah,
very
proud.
nice. Yes.
And that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Tisha Pell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, opening doors to independence once thought impossible.
This is real-world impact research, and we want to get it into the hands of people living with ALS.
Signals from the brain turned into computer commands. We take an in-depth look at how it could help people with severe disabilities communicate.